When we go out in the market shopping for a luxury watch, we come across good watches and then very good watches. And when we start to look past the typical ideas for steel watches, we sometimes come across some exceptional watches that not only offer an unparalleled value for money, but the experience that is truly one of its kind. The experience that actually connects our hearts to horology and the fine watchmaking. From my last few years of watch reviews that I've shared on my channel, when we talk about watches under 10K and then look at the machining, polishing and brushing on the case and the dial components, Grand Seiko easily falls into that category of exceptionally well executed watches with the craftsmanship that is truly a class apart. Housed inside 39.5mm case, this reference SBGJ219 showcases the dressier model offering from Grand Seiko, yet in the contemporary looks, and the self-winding high beat movement vibrating at 36,000 beats per hour. The watch offers time, date and GMT function on the paper, but if you value attention to detail in life, it has much more to offer. To ensure the dressier looks of the watch, GS have engineered and decorated the watch with utmost care and love. Starting with the case, we have a completely polished case and there's not a single surface that is brushed. This of course ensures that watch has no sportier attributes, and the all polished sides not only complement the watch looks but also enhance its wrist experience. The polishing here comes from no ordinary technique. Rather, the watch features Zaratsu polishing, which resultantly offer a mirror-like surface finish. The distortion-free polish on Grand Seiko cases is something that you virtually cannot find in any watch at this price point. There is practically no watch at this or over 2 times the price range that has better polish than this. No questions asked. The watch comes with the same fine polishing on the bezel, which further beautifies the watch face. The bezel features not only extremely high-end finish but also pairs perfectly with the contemporary watch profile. The crown has beautifully engraved GS logo and is not screwed in. GS specify the water resistance rating of the watch as splash only. The case thickness of the watch is 13.9mm or 14mm, which is slightly on the thicker side for the watch sized 40mm, yet does not compromise on the watch looks. The dial is where the watch outshines most of the competitors, and you can probably see why. If you can't, let's look closely. The hour indices see multiple facets to allow the watch to reflect the light wonderfully with the wrist movement. The level of attention does not end here. The top surfaces of the hour indices have radial lines to lend them a very unique look, which is something between polished and brushed finish. And then when you look at the sides, they are polished to ensure that the reflections from the light source against the same hour index give all the different flavors, enriching the wrist experience. The dial is beautifully sunburst, and although Grand Seiko define it as black, it looks very dark grayish in its looks. I personally think the shade of black chosen helps rendering the sunburst lines just beautifully. There's an hour tracker ring for the GMT hand to allow the time to be read in 24-hour format. Speaking of the GMT hand, the attention to detail here is that you simply cannot find a flaw in the way the arrow for the GMT hand is painted in red. You would have seen many photos or clips of other watch brands with paint having fine smudge marks under the macro. But here with GS, good luck finding a flaw. The red color for GMT hand arrow matches the color with the GMT text on the dial, which adds further character to the watch. The watch comes with applied logo for GS, which further complements the high-end looks and finish of the watch. The date window matches the color of the dial and has a beautiful border which helps maintaining the symmetry of the watch. The sword-shaped hand of the Grand Seiko is one aspect that I am personally a big fan of. The finish on hour and minute hand is truly a game changer. If you saw my previous reviews, I quoted how watches from renowned brands mostly only have top surfaces of the dial hands polished, but those manufacturers don't pay much attention, time or resources in polishing the sides of the hands. Grand Seikos stand up to their name in this particular dimension too. And then they not only machine them to perfection, they actually go a step ahead. The top surfaces here see a very fine brushing which is truly spectacular in its quality. And then the side of the hands are polished to further glorify the experience. You probably can see how the surfaces of the hands are playing with the light, which is not only phenomenal but mind-boggling. The watch comes equipped with caliber 9S86 GMT movement, which is high beat 36,000, meaning that it breathes at crazy 10 times in a second or at 5 Hz. This is actually very high frequency, as you can probably see as well, as opposed to the industry norm of 3 to 4 Hz as yet. This high frequency will elude you into thinking that the power will drain quickly, and then the watch comes with good 55 hours of power reserve when fully wound. The movement comes with very elegant stripes of Cote de Geneva, and as you move the watch you can see the way the stripes reflect the light to enhance the joy of viewing. The rotor comes engraved with Grand Seiko name and logo in golden, which adds a nice warmness to the view. The movement is good looking but isn't one of the best looking as I would expect from everything else that Grand Seiko has to offer. I personally think that the movement lacks some much needed contrast in the rotor, bridges, gears and balance wheel, which could have otherwise improved the looks of the case back. One of my biggest complaints with the standard GS movement is that there is no instant date change mechanism, meaning that the date starts changing at 11 PM and will not click to the next number on the date wheel until after 12 AM. This particular point is actually a big concern for me personally, because it just takes away a considerable flavor from the overall joy of the watch. So if I'm looking at the watch at 11:30 PM, not that the watch will not tell the date, it just aesthetically looks inferior. GS really need to work on their date change mechanism and up their game in this field. On the wrist, the watch wears like a joy. The 39.5mm case size on 6.5 inches wrist maintains the very dressy and classy looks of the watch. And with all polished case combined with the black leather strap surrounding the black dial, what is there not to take pleasure in? The watch has lug to lug span of about 46mm, but you can see there is practically no flaring of lugs on the wrist. And the watch actually wears as you would want your dress watches to wear. The watch comes with 19mm wide strap, which maintains its slender and dressy looks, and then the strap further tapers down at the clasp to maintain the elegance and neatness. The clasp comes with Grand Seiko name embossed on it and has a thin and very lightweight profile to complement the dressy and delicate looks of the watch. Grand Seiko SPGJ219 is an almost perfect answer by GS to a dress watch collection. With all polished case, beautifully executed stick hour indices and sword hands. The magic of Zaratsu polishing with arguably has no competition in the price point. The exhibition case back to show the high frequency high beat movement. And then the sunburst dial. It is a watch that offers a very tempting package and value for money. Yes, it has a slightly thicker case and the no quick date change mechanism is a letdown. But then again, what it offers easily outweighs what it doesn't. It still easily gives more than what the rest of the competition can, even with or without the date mechanism.